Watch News starts now.
Go straight to the Skywatch storm tracker as we begin our Monday morning with massive cloud cover. About 75% of the 4 states hanging in there with overcast skies. As we transition to the Freeman's Health System sky camera, we see it at 22 degrees. Ooh, look at that wind chill right now. 13 is all that we're at. It's a cold one, isn't it, Liam? I don't care what continent you're from. It's a cold one. Temperatures right now ranging anywhere from 16 in Pittsburgh, 27 in Welch, Miami right there at the freezing point, but only 13 and 12 in Nevada and Fort Scott respectively. Wind coming in due north-northeast, and that's why it feels so chilly. You can see that defining line right there on the color contour. Wind chills as low as -3 in Iowa and -2 in Yates Center. Now, it's not going to be too bad this week. It's going to be cold. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But we're not the only ones. We're locked in the old Arctic blast, and it's going to penetrate all the way down into the southeastern portion of the United States. So, what we're going to do is have to deal with cold Arctic air for just about everybody all the way in to next week. Look at that Monday low. We're talking about 1 and then a high of 11. This is going to be impressive. We may end even up setting some records. Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl last night. In case you were living under some rock. I don't even know why that line's on the screen right now. Quarterback Tom Brady helped the Chiefs to he just sailed to his 9th Super Bowl victory. That's crazy. His 5th Super Bowl MVP award. He's 43 years old, so like I can kind of understand that. He's the first player to win 7 NFL championships. 7. We're going to have full highlights from the game and hear from also too Patrick Mahomes in a few minutes. He just didn't get much help last night. I don't think Mahomes played a bad game. Just it's hard to do anything when you're just being tracked down all the time. End of the Super Bowl is also the beginning of a long NFL offseason, and for some fans, I guess they call it painful, especially when the postseason ends with a loss. Last week, we asked how some 4-staters deal with football withdrawal.
It just is what it is. You just wait for the beginning of next season, I guess.
Hopefully I can watch the reruns of the Super Bowl when the Chiefs win and watch that a couple more times.
I just stay at home and I'm bored. I need something to do, but I can't do anything. It has to be football.
I miss it, but I don't hang on every word that everybody says going through the back season.
It's a long time until football season comes back, but we've got the St. Louis Cardinals.
So it doesn't matter to me if something's on, I'm going to be watching it. So I'm a big fantasy football fan too, but so I do that.
Back to doing the things I normally do, binge watching TV.
Well, that means it's time for baseball season.
I don't know, just keep cutting hair, I guess, and wait for the season to start back up.
I'm with Blake Benson on that, actually. Let's go ahead and ramp up for baseball season. No easy way to make this transition right here. A Columbus, Kansas woman is dead following a wreck yesterday. Happened at noon on Northwest Bethlehem Road, about 6 miles west of K7. 54-year-old Pamela White traveling west when her vehicle went airborne while crossing railroad tracks. When it landed, police say it went off the road, striking a tree. Pamela White was pronounced dead at the scene. An update on a police chase and crash in Oklahoma and Missouri from Saturday night. One trooper from Missouri and one from Oklahoma, who were both injured, are out of the hospital and home safely. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says troopers chased a car on the Will Rogers Turnpike between Venita and Afton Saturday night. had to use stop sticks to stop the car near the Miami gate. Authorities say the suspect exited the vehicle, made a run for it, then circled back and stole an OHP trooper's car. That's when the chase was on again. Suspect drove to the interstate into Missouri, hit a Missouri Highway Patrol unit, injuring a trooper. The Missouri Highway Patrol set out spike strips once again, stopped the stolen car, and caught the suspect. Now, at some point, OHP trooper Micah Gabe left his vehicle and he was accidentally struck by a Missouri Highway Patrol car. Once again, want to reiterate this. Both troopers are back home from the hospital, still waiting on official charges for the suspect. A Joplin home heavily damaged after a fire Sunday morning. The house at the corner of B and Sergeant Roads in the downtown area. So far, no word of any injuries. Inmates at a jail in St. Louis overtook an area inside the facility, busted it out the windows, and set items on fire. That's all according to the mayor's office. All began Saturday morning when about 115 inmates managed to overtake an area of the 4th floor of the City Justice Center. Video that we're seeing here now shows busted out windows and charred remains from the fire. Mayor's office said a corrections officer was transported to a hospital. No word on the officer's condition or any potential injuries to the inmates. Since late December, this is the 3rd time that authorities were called to assist with a disturbance at the detention center. As we make our way to the 7-day forecast, it's going to be a cold one today. We've got wind chills right now ranging anywhere from -2 and -3 in Iola and Yates Center. And the best you're going to see is, probably about 8 or 9. No, it's a frigid one, this Arctic blast. We got so spoiled to begin the month of February. Well, it's here to stay now. Daily highs only in the 20s, overnight lows going to easily be feeling like single digits, if not negative numbers, all the way into next week. That is a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a Super Bowl recap.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl champions. I'm Skyler Henry here at Raymond James Stadium recapping the game and how quarterback Tom Brady won his 7th ring.
Missouri Southern and Central Missouri face off on the court. We got your highlights. And the number of vaccines administered last week now outnumbers new COVID cases. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. Kansas City Chiefs aim to run back a Super Bowl victory. Unfortunately, things were not to be for that second quarter. Standing in their way. This is their 13th postseason touchdown connected. That's the most by any hero in NFL history. Guys, I got 2 mics on. Turn on BNC. Bucks grab the first lead. Second quarter, Tampa looking to go up 2 scores. Chiefs defense stops them. Inside the 1 on 4th and goal. Chiefs stay within 4. We stay in the second. Back to the Gronk. The polar bear. 14-3. More from Tampa in the first. Brady to Antonio Brown. Kansas City goes to the locker room. Down 21-6 in the offense. It just didn't feel like it ever could click. Now, there's Leonard Fournette. Yeah. It's Gronk, it's Fournette, it's Brady, it's everybody. It's everybody. Bucks just dominated last night. Tom Brady, ring number 7. That's right, number 7. Chiefs fall 31-9.
To play, but I mean, what else can you say? All you can do is leave everything you have on the field, and I feel like the guys did that. They were the better team today. They beat us pretty good. The worst I think I've been beaten in a long time. But I'm proud of the guys now. They fought till the very end of the game.
Pittsburgh State Gorillas sweeping MIAA header from Lincoln on Saturday. Now the men's game, yeah, it took overtime, but the Gorillas got by the Blue Tigers 85-77. So this is going to be their 5th straight win. Antonio Gibbons posted a career high, 20 points. Now on the women's side, I was waiting for this moment. Tristan Gay topping 1,000 career points. Such a great night. Kaylee Demitz, yeah, well, she had a team high 19 and 7 rebounds. 2 key players stepped up. You had Sydney Crane, Aaron Davis. David scored 10 in the first half. Sydney filled up the stat sheet. Get this, Sydney Crane, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 assists.
Sydney's been extremely consistent for us lately, and that has made a huge difference. And she's just playing with a lot of confidence right now. I'm really happy for her. I'm really proud of her. And then, Aaron the same way. And they both have earned it. Like, they have really earned their self-confidence and the confidence of all of us that we have in them. They've just earned a lot of respect. I think from even just the basketball community really enjoys watching them play right now. And they are fun to watch. I mean, Erin is blazing down that sideline. She's super fast. And so really proud of both those players for just the consistency that they've been bringing lately.
Now Missouri Southern split their doubleheader with Central Missouri on Saturday. Cam Martin, shocker, 29 points, 7 rebounds. Men won by 19 points against the Mules. As for the women, they kept it tight for a while, but you got to remember, the Jennies were ranked 21st in the nation and won this thing 78-59. Nice night though for Lane Skiles. A career high 21 points, 5 of 7 from three-point range.
The thing we've got to learn is the pace of play that they played at compared to what we played at. They were quicker to the ball, loose balls they got after, rebounds, again, the big thing. Just got to make sure we got to do a better job of boxing out, and then going and chasing the ball is one area that we've got to definitely work on if we want to be able to compete in the top half of our league.
A glacier breaks in the Himalayas, and a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM morning news returns.
This is Brad at the 66.
Little past 5:17 as we take a look at the Skywatch storm tracker as we are just locked in with heavy cloud cover, and it is a cold one outside. Temperatures way below the freezing mark, and when we talk about wind chills, everything from negative numbers up to Yates Center in Iola, Mount Vernon and Cassville hanging at 20 and 19. Now remember, that's not just actual temperatures, that is the wind chill. Now as we roll through the 7-day forecast, we are just mired in an Arctic blast. You remember the old phrase, the polar vortex. That's right, it is upon us. A little chance for some precipitation here that obviously is going to be snowy weather. However, we don't have many travel concerns, but wait till we get our cancellations. And we'll get to those in just a little bit. By the way, KOAMNewsNow.com, your entire school cancellation list, and we're gonna jump on that here in just a little bit. Tom Brady, now the oldest player to ever win the Super Bowl. He's 7-3. See, he's been at 10 of them. He's got 7 wins, 3 losses. And now Tom Terrific says he's not quitting it. Skylar Henry outside the stadium with more on the game. And also, too, the healthcare workers in the stands.
Announcer jinxes. Here's Brady's pass. It's Gronkowski!
Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took the lead in the first quarter of Super Bowl 55 and never looked back.
Fournette! Touchdown!
The Bucs thrashed the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9 behind 3 touchdown passes by Brady, including 2 to his former Patriot teammate Rob Gronkowski.
I think we knew this was going to happen tonight, didn't we?
Meanwhile, the Bucs defense pressured Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes all game long and held Kansas City to just 3 field goals.
They beat us pretty good. The worst I think I've been beaten in a long time.
43-year-old Brady remains undefeated against Father Time,
winning a record 7th Super Bowl and 5th MVP.
We're coming back.
We're coming
You
back.
know that.
Tampa Bay was the first team to play the Super Bowl in its home stadium. About 25,000 fans were in the stands, including about 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers.
Not the outcome anyone wanted, not the game anyone wanted.
These Chiefs fans from the University of Kansas Medical Center were disappointed in the game, but like the fight against COVID-19, remain optimistic for better days ahead.
It's been a rough year, but I think all of us in healthcare are going to build it back. We're going to come back stronger, and we're going to do the same with the Chiefs, right?
The entertainment for the night included Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan, who sang the national anthem. The Weeknd performed the halftime show. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Tampa.
KOAM News Now Facebook page. And did you watch the Super Bowl? And what'd you think of the game? Let us know. You can also log on to our Insta poll, KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. And we will catch up with some of your comments. Healthwatch is next.
The wait. Topping Healthwatch this morning, it's been a cold, dark COVID winter, but may soon see the first signs of light on the coronavirus pandemic. There's now a third vaccine. Johnson & Johnson just asked the FDA for emergency use authorization. The number of vaccines administered last week outnumbers new COVID cases 10-1. But serious struggles remain. Getting schools reopened remains a significant logistical and political challenge. Vaccinations still need to ramp up, and the spread is not yet under control.
The fight against COVID-19 progressing on 3 fronts today. More shots, more sites, and more vaccines heading towards approval. New York's mega vaccination site opening up at Yankee Stadium this morning.
I was in and out 2 seconds.
In Maryland, the back parking lot at Six Flags, now a mass vaccination center.
The idea eventually is to build an infrastructure that can handle millions of vaccines.
And in Northern California, Oakland's Coliseum and Levi Stadium now vaccination hubs. American troops joining the fight against COVID. The Biden administration announced it will deploy 1,000 service members across the country to help with vaccination efforts. This as COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the U.S. outnumbered new cases 10-1 this week.
It is getting better, and I think we're going to get much, much better yet.
Another 1.3 million shots in the arms of Americans reported Thursday. New cases down 30% in the last 2 weeks, and according to the CDC, down 61% since the January 8th peak. Hospitalizations dropped below 90,000 for the first time since November. A new study, which hasn't yet been peer-reviewed, found that Astrazeneca's vaccine, not yet authorized in the U.S., is effective against that faster-spreading variant first identified in the U.K. While Johnson & Johnson submitted its single-dose vaccine for emergency FDA authorization and could become available next month.
It's a single dose. It's shipped and stored at refrigerator temperature, so that makes it much easier.
With the CDC set to release new guidance on reopening schools in the coming week.
Today, we are going to be vaccinating teachers.
24 states plus Washington, D.C. now allowing teachers to get the vaccine.
We're so excited because we will be able to get back.
Not the case at several districts, where teachers' unions have demanded more safety measures before getting back, a thorny issue for the White House.
Will President Biden use the power of the bully pulpit to help cajole teachers who are unwilling to go back to schools to go back?
One, I'm just going to reject the premise of the question. The president is absolutely committed to reopening schools. He wants them not just to reopen, but to stay open. And he wants to do that in a safe way.
The Biden administration today announced plans to make 60 million at-home COVID-19 tests available this summer. The White House also still exploring sending face masks directly to all Americans.
We want to get this back on track.
And not wearing a mask when traveling, that could get you a $250 fine, according to the TSA.
The third vaccine comes as the CDC reviews the new data that suggests the coronavirus variant identified in the UK could be more deadly. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
The Arctic air is officially upon us as the wind blows in from the northeast right there. These are actual temperatures. These are not wind chills. These are actual temperatures. We're talking about anywhere from 14 in Nevada, and then you graduate a little bit up on the thermometers. You work down the south, 20 in Oswego, 32 in Miami. But we're going to see everybody down south. You're going to drop as well because we are stuck in this. We're mired in this, if you will, and it's going to last a couple of days. Check out these wind chill numbers that we're seeing right now. We got negatives up in Yates Center and Iola. Now, get up into the 30s today. Got a chance for some additional snow flurries, just like we saw last week. Closings, bottom of your screen. Back right after this.
Good morning, I'm Tanya Buck with your KOAM News Update. A Columbus, Kansas woman is dead following a wreck yesterday. It happened at noon on Northwest Bethlehem Road, about 6 miles west of K7. 54-year-old Pamela White was traveling west when her vehicle went airborne while crossing railroad tracks. When it landed, police say it went off the road, striking a tree. She was pronounced dead at the scene. One trooper from Missouri and one from Oklahoma, who were both injured in a police chase, are out of the hospital. Troopers chased a car on the Turnpike between Venita and Afton Saturday night. Authorities say the suspect stole an OHP trooper's car. The suspect drove up the interstate and hit a Missouri Highway Patrol unit. At some point, OHP trooper left his vehicle and was struck by a Missouri Highway Patrol car. Here's Michael with today's forecast.
A little bit of snow going to work its way in on a chilly Monday. And as it does, watch out for those slick roads because we've already got a massive amount of closings there that are on the bottom of your screen. Now, as this thing pushes from west to east, we need to watch the freezing rain, especially on and south of I-44. Arctic blast here to stay. Temperatures in the 20s all week long.
Four states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour are something to talk about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page. We're asking, did you watch the Super Bowl? If so, what did you think of the game? And our own Jesse Irwin talks to Senator Josh Hawley following the controversy surrounding the Capitol assault. But first, a check on your forecast.
All right, Tanya, let's go freezing drizzle. And then freezing rain, and then snow. That would explain why that ticker at the bottom of your screen has an extended list of closures on this Monday morning. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com, KOAMnewsnow.com, and at the very top you're going to be able to click on a link that'll take you to the school and eventually business closings. Now, with that being said, we're not picking up any precipitation as of yet. Also, too, want everybody to know the roads are already slick, and that is why we see the entire 4 states encompassed in a winter weather advisory all the way until 6 p.m. tonight. You know, usually we don't see a winter weather advisory that lasts that long, but that's an indicator of exactly this, I don't call it a mess, but why we need to be careful. 22 degrees is where we stand for the Freeman Health System Sky Camera. Only a wind chill right now of 13. Nobody, Miami and Grove sitting right there. But look up to the north. We're talking about 14 in Nevada, 11 in Iola, and 16 right now in Pittsburgh. So that wind, as it whips in, just makes a big difference as far as what our wind chills are, as we've dipped down to -5 in Iola. Now, when we talk about that precipitation that we're still waiting to originate out in central Kansas, when it does, it's going to roll through. Really, the big factor, though, is the snow is one thing. We all know that. But look at that south of I-44. That's the freezing precip that I do like to see. Be done with that by tonight, but it just keeps on re-emerging each and every day. So it's going to be a little bit of a February mess, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's not a very pleasant looking forecast when something's fallen in almost every bracket there.
I know. It's one of those that, yeah, we were putting up 60s on the 7-day forecast last week.
I liked it.
I know. I knew February was going to come get us. I knew it. I just had a feeling. And I had that feeling the last day of January. I was out in my garage, kind of tooling around out there, just kind of, thinking and everything. And I hadn't even looked at Doug's long-range forecast, or, I just hadn't. I was like, February is going to come bite us.
And it is biting cold outside.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Michael. Tampa Bay Buccaneers won Super Bowl 55 last night, beating last year's champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Legendary quarterback Tom Brady helped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sail to a 31-9 Super Bowl victory over the Chiefs. Now, Brady won his 5th Super Bowl MVP award. Brady, who is 43, is the first player to win 7 NFL championships. A Columbus, Kansas woman is dead following a wreck yesterday. It happened at noon on Northwest Bethlehem Road, about 6 miles west of K7. 54-year-old Pamela White was traveling west when her vehicle went airborne while crossing railroad tracks. When it landed, police say it went off the road, striking a tree. She was pronounced dead at the scene. An update on a police chase and crashes in Oklahoma and Missouri Saturday night. One trooper from Missouri and one from Oklahoma, who were both injured, are out of the hospital and home safe. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says troopers chased a car on the Will Rogers Turnpike between Venita and Afton Saturday night and used stop sticks to stop the car near the Miami gate. Authorities say the suspect got out and ran and then circled back and stole an OHP trooper's car. The chase was on again. Now, the suspect drove up the interstate and into Missouri and hit a Missouri Highway Patrol unit, injuring that trooper. Missouri Highway Patrol set out spike strips again, stopped the stolen car, and caught the suspect. At some point, OHP trooper Micah Geib left his vehicle. Geib was accidentally struck by a Missouri Highway Patrol car. Again, both troopers are now home from the hospital. The suspect has not yet been charged. Inmates at a jail in St. Louis overtook an area inside the facility, busted out the windows, and set items on fire. And that's according to the mayor's office. This all began early Saturday morning when about 115 inmates managed to overtake an area of the 4th floor of the City Justice Center. Video shows busted out windows and char from the fire. The mayor's office said a corrections officer was transported to a hospital after being attacked by the inmates. No word on the officer's condition or any potential injuries to the inmates. Since late December, this is the 3rd time that authorities were called to assist with the disturbance at the center. On Saturday, Carbon Creek Events hosted the Southeast Kansas Wedding Expo, which brought all of the area's wedding vendors to one place. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with some vendors about the impact the pandemic has had on the bridal industry.
When the pandemic first hit, one of the many industries slapped hard was the wedding industry.
We had just opened whenever COVID hit here.
Abby Geiger, the owner of Wild Iris Event Center, had just established her business when she was shut down due to the pandemic. She couldn't start up again until October, after wedding season had ended.
So right when we were opening back up, it's like you're heading out of wedding season.
Erica Stebe, who works at Sweet Designs Bakery, says despite the uncertainty of the pandemic, brides are still planning for their future weddings.
Even with the upsetting COVID situation, brides are still very hopeful for fall weddings and weddings coming of next year. So they're going to go ahead and start planning early, and I think that's awesome.
That's why events like the Southeast Kansas Wedding Expo hold such importance in times like these.
And nobody really knew about us or knew, so we are really excited to be here today just to get the word out that we are doing what we're doing.
For now, the future is still unknown for those working in the bridal industry. In Pittsburgh, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
With the uncertainty of the bridal industry, vendors are hoping to use this event to gain new customers. World Class Sports held its annual JL Hutch baseball equipment drop-off on Saturday. What a title, and a title that helps a number of families. It's even more helpful this year as the event was canceled last year. People were able to bring their new or slightly used equipment to World Class for families in need to use for the upcoming season. Donations included some of the obvious things like baseballs, cleats, pants, bats, bat bags, and helmets.
It's great. We love having it, and that's why basically we do it, is because we know that once you start buying all that gear, it can really add up. And so we want kids to have the opportunity to play baseball in Pittsburgh, and we don't want them to not play because maybe they don't have a glove or a bat or some cleats or something. So anything we can do to get more kids involved in our league, we're trying to do.
Families will be able to take home the gear starting February 13th. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, South Africa has postponed the rollout of a vaccine over questions on the effectiveness of the new variant. And our own Jesse Irwin talks to Senator Josh Hawley.
Well, following the January 6th events at the Capitol and transition into a new administration, we speak with Missouri Senator Josh Hawley here on the KOAM Morning News. But first, it is 5:37.
This story Tanya was talking about there with Chris Ferris and how well that means to people. You good?
That doesn't turn off?
No. I wanted to talk about donating sports equipment.
Okay.
How important it is. And anything that you take for granted, donate that back to your YMCA. Go find Chris Ferris at the Sports Academy. Take care of that. You don't realize what it means to young kids when they have that available to them. It means the world to them. I love that story. All right, so we're going to get snow today. Freezing rain south of 544. It is freezing cold outside. We're not even going to be able to get into the mid-30s overnight lows as the polar vortex hits all the way down to the 20s for the duration of this week. Be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Backcraft and back.
Topping World Watch, South Africa has postponed the rollout of the Oxford Astrazeneca vaccine amid questions over its effectiveness on the variant. Elena Giokos explains.
In South Africa after results show that it offers minimal protection against mild and moderate COVID-19 cases, specifically from the variant that was first identified in the country. The variant B1351 is a lot more transmissible, but very little was known about this. Trials have been conducted for many months now. Now, the Astrazeneca vaccination showed to be 75% viable against COVID-19 until the end of October 2020. When the variant started becoming a lot more dominant in South Africa, researchers say that they weren't able to replicate those results. Where we're sitting right now, 1 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine have arrived in the country. The government now is halting that rolling out. Take a listen to what the health minister, Willem Kiese, had to say.
So it's a temporary issue that we have to hold on to AstraZeneca. It is temporary until we figure out these issues. What are the next steps supposed to be? When we know those steps, then of course we bring it back.
They have also voiced their disappointment at these latest results. The hope was that AstraZeneca vaccination and the aggressive rollout, which was planned over the next month, would have a significant impact for essential workers, for health workers in the country. Right now, the hope is that they will expedite the use and the trials of the Johnson & Johnson vaccination, and also looking at other vaccine options that perhaps will be able to target the variant. The variant now has moved beyond South African borders and found in other African countries and around the world. And the big question plaguing many people and, of course, researchers and countries is just how viable these vaccines will be against the mutations that we're seeing taking hold of the world. Eleni Giokos, St. Francis Bay, South Africa.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for something to talk about.
Talking about Super Bowl 55. I know it didn't turn out the way a lot of people wanted to, but asking if you had a chance to watch it and what you thought about it. We'll begin our comments. And Jan, I don't know how this worked. Obviously, Jan with a hashtag satire. If I had known that was going to happen, I would have cashed in on a live bet in Vegas on that. For entertainment purposes only, by the way. Anybody call me out on that? Crystal McCracken says, it was all about the puppy bowl at my house. Much more enjoyable than the game, I'm sure. Will York says, watched the game, got a little disappointed at what I saw, but that's okay. Will says, we had the moment last year, and I'll keep riding that moment for the rest of my life. Will, I love your attitude on it, man. Christy Miller Best, she went with a great game. Tiffany Maisoru says yes, but now I wish I would have turned it off. William Beeching, Says, yeah, baby, they sure did. I bet Mahomes cried like a schoolgirl all the way back to his hotel room. And Rocky Cunningham fell asleep at half. MVP for Tampa Bay. Rocky nailed this one spot on. It was a defense, without a doubt. We love you too, Aunt Pat. All right, we'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Tampa Bay Buccaneers won Super Bowl 55 last night, beating last year's champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Legendary quarterback Tom Brady helped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sail to a 31-9 Super Bowl victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Brady won his 5th Super Bowl MVP award. Brady, who is 43, is the first player to win 7 NFL championships. A Columbus, Kansas woman is dead following a wreck yesterday. It happened at noon on Northwest Bethlehem Road, about 6 miles west of K7. 54-year-old Pamela White was traveling west when her vehicle went airborne while crossing railroad tracks. When it landed, police say it went off the road, striking a tree. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Inmates at a jail in St. Louis overtook an area inside the facility, busted out the windows and set items on fire, and that's according to the mayor's office. This all began early Saturday morning when about 115 inmates managed to overtake an area on the 4th floor of the City Justice Center. The mayor's office said a corrections officer was transported to a hospital after being attacked by the inmates. No word on the officer's condition or any potential injuries to the inmates. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
The Arctic air is upon us as our temperatures range right now anywhere from 10 in Iowa all the way to 32 in Miami and Grove. So while we have a wide variety of them, the important thing to know is it's going to be a little bit interesting of a week because we got spoiled last week with temperatures that were in the 50s, if not 60s for some day. And so today we're going to roll a little snow and freezing rain. That's the thing I want to point out, along and south of I-44. And get it out of here by the evening hours. You need to be very careful. You've already seen the list of closings right there at the bottom of your screen, KOAMnewsnow.com. So it's just like we're going to just keep on piling on. And then as we progress into Tuesday night, you guessed it, we're going to have more precipitation that comes up from the south. All the latest for you on the Skywatch weather app. KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. It is about if you watched the Super Bowl last night, what you had to think about it. And we will resume those comments with. This is where, that's right, because I'm going to have to turn my back if I do that. All right, we'll pick our comments. Blake Dawson, he says, I only cared about the commercials, Blake says. Sports are, to me. But Blake brings up a good point. Jackie, Kelso, and Shaggy in the same commercial. It was pretty good. That was good. I tell you what, Donald Ray Yoakum, I'm going to come back to yours. Will Batiste says, KOAM, heck no, didn't watch it, nor will I ever. Fat cats running the show have the right to not believe in standing up for our national anthem, and further say, it is okay for team players to disrespect our flag, our country, and our veterans who fought for their right to do so, some of which never made it home. And he says, yeah, it's their right to do that, just like it's my right to never support or help fund these disrespectful fat cats and spoiled players by watching. Will says he will never watch. Orville Harris Sr. says Tampa Bay showing all the KC weaknesses on the O-line, secondary. If you play too high safety on the hill, he disappears. Chiefs have a lot of work to do if they want to return to the Super Bowl. Throw in the free agent wide receivers, they have their work cut out for them. The upcoming draft is going to be a deep draft. Interesting to watch all the quarterback trading when it's done. And that's why I was holding off on Donald Ray's here. Because of the draft. Donald Ray says, yeah. Tom Brady fan till the end. I mean, it is pretty crazy. Round number 6. Number 199. It's unreal. It's a great story, though. I mean, it is tremendous. Now, over to our own Jesse Irwin in Studio C.
Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri has made national headlines surrounding the transition of power in the White House, the integrity of our elections, and the events at the nation's Capitol on January 6th. And this morning, we are joined by Senator Josh Hawley. Good morning, Senator. Thanks for joining us. I just want to start off talking about social media, and we're going to bounce around here a little bit. But, when it comes to social media platforms, when do you believe it's okay for a social media platform to suspend or remove one of its users?
Well, I think they need to have clear policies, and those policies need to be applied even-handedly. What worries me right now, we're in the midst of a major social media crackdown against conservatives. I mean, you've just seen dozens and dozens and dozens of very prominent conservatives, let alone folks who are just going about their daily lives, get kicked off of Twitter, get censored on Facebook, Instagram, and it's really a remarkable thing to see. And this is not an even-handed application of their own policies. I mean, they are clearly targeting conservatives and conservative speech, and that is a major problem. And the reason it's a big problem is because they're monopolies. These companies have incredible power. They own the market. Look what they did to Parler. That was the conservative social media app. These companies got together and canceled Parler in the space of like 2 days. I mean, that's power now. So they've got a corner on the market. They're using their power in a political way, and that's a big problem. They need to be broken up is the answer here.
Senator Hawley, last question for you. What feedback have you gotten from your constituents in Missouri since the January 6th events at the Capitol? And how do you plan on being effective in terms of representing them despite the negative response that you've gotten from a lot of your peers on both sides of the aisle?
Well, the negative response is all from the media and then from the establishment, folks who have never been fans of mine and are never going to be. And that's just fine. I'm not there to represent them. The establishment has got plenty of lobbyists and talking mouths in Washington. They don't need another one. And they're certainly not going to get me to do that work for them. I'm there to represent the people of Missouri. And there's been quite a lot of data, actually. Folks have gone into the field and done surveys and done polls since in the last few weeks since January 6th and asked them what they think of my course of action, and it's been very supportive. I mean, very positive. So my view is I'm there to represent the people of Missouri. I'm not going to give in to the woke mob. I'm going to keep plowing forward and doing what I have done for the last 2 years, and as long as the people of Missouri will have me.
Well, we will continue our conversation with Senator Hawley here in a little. We'll be right back on the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Evidently, I got 30 seconds to finish this up. Our incomparable producer, Allie Simon, she is absolutely awesome, and I was just giving her a hard time. Allie, you do a marvelous job. What we have on the 7-day forecast is, number one, Arctic blast just hammering us right now. Cancellations, bottom of your screen, KOAMnewsnow.com. And make sure you go through that laundry list. We're going to pick up some freezing rain along and south of I-44 and then snow then for the central and northern portions of the 4 states. And of course, you can always find the latest on the Skywatch weather app.
In Money Watch this morning, celebrities have starred in Super Bowl commercials for years, but the coronavirus has created a unique opportunity for more actors to get screen time amid the slowdown in the entertainment industry. Sal Giangrasso takes a look back at some of this year's funniest ads and has why more celebrities may have jumped at the chance to star in them.
What are you having, a potato salad?
The Super Bowl may be over, but the commercials during football's biggest night will live on forever. And that's a good thing for the actors in them. The coronavirus pandemic has caused a variety of businesses to slam on the brakes, including the entertainment industry. Experts say celebs have always appeared in Super Bowl commercials, but this time around was different.
You have TV shows that are on hiatus, movies that are being pushed back. So you actually have some celebrities that are free to do work. So it seems like there was an opportunity this year to get some really high-level talent.
Many of this year's ads went lighthearted with the comedy, but heavy-handed with a large number of A-list cameos. Matthew McConaughey, Mindy Kaling, and Jimmy Kimmel kept it cheesy for the Doritos 3D Crunch ad.
Grab an EV, meet me in Norway.
And Will Ferrell, Kenan Thompson, and Awkwafina drove audiences to laughter during General Motors' electric car segment.
Give me back my face!
For Seinfeld's Jason Alexander, doing an iconic Super Bowl ad was a no-brainer.
I got a call almost from out of the blue saying, hey, Tide is really interested in a Super Bowl spot with you. And without seeing it, I went, I'm in.
For actress Mila Kunis, filming her Cheetos commercial was all about having fun with her husband, Ashton Kutcher.
But we both went, all right, let's just do this. Let's do it and have fun and look at it as like a date night. We shot it in 2 days and made each other laugh a lot.
That's it for Money Watch. We'll be right back.
Right at 6:17, perfect time for weather on the 7s. Most important thing, let's start at the bottom of your screen right there. A complete list of school closings, business closings, organizations, activities, anything that you need. We're going to keep that right down there for the rest of the morning, and you can always go to KOAMnewsnow.com and find out if you want to sort it out by anything. But I tell you what, it's from what we had last night when it started to freeze over. This is obviously the widest spread number of closings that we've had, not only for 2021, but I mean the entire school year for the most part. As we sit from the Freeman Health System Sky Camera right now, 22 degrees with a wind chill of only 14. My goodness, we were throwing up 60s on the board last week. What in the world happened? Heavy cloud cover, still waiting on the precipitation to develop. And when it does, it will cause a winter weather advisory that will stretch all the way until 6 o'clock this afternoon. All we're seeing right now, though, on the radar is just what's bubbling up over Wichita. Now, everything's going to work from Dodge City right along the highway through Wichita and toward us. We just haven't had anything really come close to us as of yet. Of course, we still got the residual from yesterday, which is why we have all those closings. 10 degrees is the actual temperature. This is not wind chill. Actual temperature in Iola right there. So just lock in and just bundle up because these cold temperatures not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, a couple Chiefs fans were ready to buy some Super Bowl merchandise, but that actually wasn't the case last night. And before we get there, I want to go back to our own Jesse Irwin in Studio C.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We are joined by Senator Josh Hawley this morning of Missouri. And Senator, thank you for joining us. Senator, you voted against certifying the election results. You have not voted in favor of any of President Biden's cabinet appointments thus far. Do you currently at this moment recognize Joe Biden as President of the United States?
Oh, I do. Yeah, absolutely. He's the duly elected president. He became, in my view, officially the president-elect on January 6th when the votes were counted before Congress, certified by Congress. He had a clear majority there, and he is the duly elected president. And listen, I've said that I view my role as the loyal opposition. I don't agree with the president on many issues. I'm really disappointed in how he has chosen to start his term. I thought he talked about unity and healing. I thought he'd try to find some ways to come together. That's not what he's doing at all. He's ruling by executive fiat. He has issued an avalanche of executive orders like we've never seen before from an incoming president, and they're radical. I mean, canceling energy jobs, canceling our energy independence, radical pro-abortion policies, stuff that's going to be very bad for Missouri farmers. You look at his climate policies. So I am really, really concerned. But, again, I view myself as making sure that I stand in opposition to the policies that hurt the people of Missouri, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, so how do you plan on working with the Biden administration despite, questioning the legitimacy of how he got into office? I mean, there's still a desire to get things done. How do you plan on doing that?
Well, listen, I objected to one state, the state of Pennsylvania, during the Electoral College count. And I just point out that Democrat members of Congress have done the same thing many times, most recently in 2001, and then in 2005, and then in 2017. In other words, after every time a Republican president's been elected in the last almost 3 decades. So those Democrats, first of all, were never called traitors or seditious or any of the other outrageous lies that Republicans are now being called, and many of them went on to work with the president. So I recognize President Biden as the legitimate and duly elected president, and I hope that he'll be willing to reach across the aisle. I was somebody who fought for greater stimulus checks, relief payments for individuals in our state who need them for COVID. Bernie Sanders and I worked together on that just last month. And so this is something that I would hope that we could find common ground on. But right now, as we speak, in fact, the Democrats are trying to change the rules in the Senate so that they can jam through their agenda, including COVID relief, without any Republican votes. So I'm really disappointed by what I'm seeing so far, but we'll see. I stand ready to work with anybody to get stuff done for the people of Missouri.
So it sounds like you're still in support of having those direct deposit checks of $2,000
yes.
or $1,400?
I am. Yeah, I am. Absolutely. I think that is, I continue to believe that is the right course. I think that they ought to be targeted towards working families, of course, who need them. But I think that the people of Missouri and the country, working people, have borne the brunt of this pandemic, and they deserve to be first when it comes to pandemic relief and not last behind the corporations and the big banks.
Well, Senator Hawley, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
We'll have our full conversation with Senator Hawley on our website. We'll be right back on the KOAM Morning News after this.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, pediatricians say they are seeing the impacts of climate change in children in many ways, from asthma to allergies to premature births. Nancy Chen shows us how doctors around the country are driving a call to action.
As wildfires burned near San Francisco last summer, pediatrician Lisa Patel says she saw firsthand how climate change can affect health.
Around late September, I remember shift after shift, I had several deliveries that I would go to on each shift of moms that were coming in labor about a month to 2 months early.
Previous studies show air pollution and excess heat can cause premature labor. The American Academy of Pediatrics calls climate change one of the top health threats to children around the world.
What are the effects of climate change on children?
Everything you can imagine. And I think that's why all of us are so involved in this. Now we understand that climate change affects every part of our bodies and our health.
That includes pollution-triggered asthma, severe allergies with longer allergy seasons, and heat illnesses with rising temperatures. In an effort to protect families, U.S. pediatricians across the country are now banding together and lobbying lawmakers for change. Climate change advocates with the American Academy of Pediatrics are pushing for new laws on renewable energy, passing climate resolutions, and educating other physicians. Montana pediatrician Lori Byron founded the program after extreme weather displaced families on the American Indian Reservation where she worked.
Whether it's having to move out of your home or losing your economic security, or sometimes for farmers and ranchers losing their farm or their livestock. And all of those things affect us as a society and affect our children.
Byron says we need to fight for change so our children can have a better tomorrow. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
In a historic UK ruling last year, air pollution was blamed in the death of a London 9-year-old. State mask mandates have been linked to a decline in COVID-19 hospitalizations and an increase in mask compliance. That's according to new research from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released on Friday. They found that hospitalizations declined 5.5% among 18 to 64-year-olds. They also saw a significant decline in hospitalizations among 40 to 64-year-olds, fewer than 3 weeks into the mandate. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We are going to get a winter mix today. In central counties and freezing rain, that's the main concern. Right along and below I-44. Temperatures right now considerably way below the freezing point as we have wind chills that are even in the negatives up in the northwest portion of the 4 states. As we clear this off Monday afternoon, evening, we're going to get right back on it on Tuesday. You're going to notice when we get to the 7-day forecast, it's a little bit of a February mess because the precipitation keeps on rolling in from the Gulf and the temperatures, well, they don't want to budge. We're talking about a whole bunch of 20s and overnight lows down into single digits as we approach the weekend, and need everybody to make sure you give yourself plenty of extra time this week. All your closings scrolling through right there on the bottom of your screen. You can find them at KOAMnewsnow.com.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers claimed victory in Super Bowl 55. We'll have highlights from the game. Plus, a Columbus, Kansas woman is dead following a wreck yesterday, and a suspect leads police on a chase in a stolen Oklahoma Highway Patrol car. The latest on the condition of 2 injured officers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, the impeachment trial for former President Donald Trump starts tomorrow. And for something to talk about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page, we're asking, did you watch the Super Bowl? If so, what did you think of the game? But first, check on your forecast.
A little bit of a mess on our hands here on this Monday. Bottom of your screen as we continue to scroll through our list of closings, and more than a handful of schools not having class today because of the precipitation that froze yesterday into the nighttime hours. Skywatch storm tracker, not too bad right now, but do also want to point out when I lift the cloud cover, you will see that we are in the midst of a winter weather advisory that lasts all the way until 6 p.m. So we are not out of the fray. We're not even close. Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin sitting at 22 degrees. Feels like 14. Temperatures just ranging far below the freezing mark, especially up to the north where we see Nevada at 13. Let's go Parsons at 16. Carthage at 23. Neosho 27. And you got to dip down way south to find anything that's even at the mark. Now, when we talk about future track, here's what we've got coming in. We're going to roll snow for the north and central portions when you get along and south of I-44. Here's what I don't like about the way this graphic shapes up is that's the freezing precipitation that you see in pink right there. Eventually everything pushes off to the east, but we're going to revamp and we're going to redo it again on Tuesday. And Tuesday is looking like more freezing rain than it is snow thanks to some Gulf moisture. When we talk about the 7-day forecast, overnight lows that are just going to be punishing as we're going to drop down to single digits here by the time we get to the end of the week.
All right. It's not a very pleasant week. I think we see that.
At least we know it. I mean, it's not one of those that it's not going to sneak up on us and surprise us.
No, that's for sure.
We're looking at this last week. You know, that's why we were sitting at 55, 60 degrees. So I was like, no, don't look toward the right-hand side of that 7-day forecast. Mm-hmm. Enjoy this, because it's going to drop in.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won Super Bowl 55 last night, beating last year's champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Legendary quarterback Tom Brady helped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sail to a 31-9 Super Bowl victory over the Chiefs. Brady won his 5th Super Bowl MVP award. Brady, who is 43, is the first player to win 7 NFL championships. One way to deal with the end of a football season is to look towards the next one, and we know just the guy to help us do it. Former Pitt State Gorilla Kendall Gammon had a 15-year NFL career with the Chiefs, Saints, and Steelers. Kendall's been a broadcast analyst for the Chiefs for years. We asked him what the Chiefs need to prioritize during the offseason.
I think it's offensive line. The offensive line has aged a little bit, and you only had one starter playing in the Super Bowl from the year before. Wisniewski came in and played to the right guard, but he wasn't even on the team earlier. This was because of all of the COVID issues. So I think when you've got a QB that's commanding the salary of $500 million, you need to take care of him. And I think that's what the Chiefs will do. You know, they found a few diamonds in the rough, but I think they're really going to have to address the offensive line issue if they can.
Kendall was part of PSU's 1991 championship team and played for the Steelers in Super Bowl 30. In other news, a Columbus, Kansas woman is dead following a wreck yesterday. It happened at noon on Northwest Bethlehem Road, about 6 miles west of K7. 54-year-old Pamela White was traveling west when her vehicle went airborne while crossing railroad tracks. When it landed, police say it went off the road, striking a tree. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Inmates at a jail in St. Louis overtook an area inside the facility, busted out the windows and set items on fire, and that's according to the mayor's office. This all began early Saturday morning when about 115 inmates managed to overtake an area of the 4th floor of the City Justice Center. Video shows busted out windows and char from the fire. The mayor's office said a corrections officer was transported to a hospital after being attacked by the inmates. No word on the officer's condition or any potential injuries to the inmates. Since late December, this is the 3rd time authorities were called to assist with the disturbance at the center. Oklahoma Geological Survey has reported several earthquakes southeast of Enid, Oklahoma, in the north central part of the state. The strongest was a magnitude 4.2. The other two have been 3.7 and 3.5. Officials say there have been no injuries or damage from the quakes on Friday. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. A second impeachment trial.
President Trump's historic second impeachment trial is set to begin tomorrow. I'm Elise Preston with a look at what's expected.
As for our Something to Talk About on the KOAM News Now Facebook page, we're asking, did you watch the Super Bowl? If so, what did you think of the game? We let you weigh in, but first, it's 6:37.
Freezing on this Monday morning and a winter weather advisory lasting all the way until 6 o'clock this evening. As we see snow come through the central and northern portions of the 4 states, it is going to be a slick mess outside on those roads. Complete list of closings already scrolling on the bottom of your screen, and you can find the latest at KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back with Nation Watch right after this.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, the second Senate impeachment trial for former President Donald Trump gets underway tomorrow. CBS's Elise Preston explains what to expect.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are set to be jurors and prosecutors this week as former President Donald Trump's Senate impeachment trial begins Tuesday. He's accused of inciting the deadly Capitol riot on January 6th.
Now, the Senate must honor their oath and impeach Donald J. Trump to hold him accountable, but also to bar him from running for public office ever again.
That is unlikely to happen. Dozens of GOP senators have challenged the constitutionality of impeaching a now private citizen. And with a 2/3 vote required to convict, Mr. Trump will likely be acquitted.
Zero chance of conviction. 45 Republicans have said it's not even a legitimate proceeding, so it's really over before it starts.
In a 14-page pretrial memo, Trump's attorneys also argue the constitutionality of the proceedings, while denying his remarks are what sparked a violent mob to swarm and rush the Capitol last month. 9 Democratic Congress members will serve as prosecutors, known as impeachment managers.
Let's turn to the impeachment trial.
In an exclusive sit-down with CBS Evening News anchor Norah O'Donnell, President Joe Biden addressed the upcoming trial.
I ran like hell to defeat him because I thought he was unfit to be president. I've watched what everybody else watched, what happened when that crew invaded the United States Congress. But I'm not in the Senate now. I'll let the Senate make that decision.
The former commander-in-chief is not expected to testify under oath. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts will not preside over the historic impeachment trial since former President Trump is now a private citizen. Democratic Senator Patrick Leahy will oversee the proceedings. It's not clear how long the proceedings will take place. George Shultz, who served more than 6 years as President Ronald Reagan's Secretary of State, has died. Shultz, who worked to improve relations with the Soviet Union in the 1980s, was the longest-serving Secretary of State since World War II. George Shultz was 100 years old. President Biden says he has no plans to lift sanctions on Iran before they get back to the negotiating table. In an interview aired on CBS's Face the Nation Sunday, President Biden was asked if he would remove sanctions to get Iran back into negotiations. He said no, and then indicated that Iran has to stop enriching uranium first. In response, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said the United States must, quote, lift all sanctions if it wants Tehran to return to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, Tampa Bay winning Super Bowl 55. Our question to you, did you watch it? What did you think about it? Did you have fun? I hope everybody had fun and stayed safe as well, especially with the roads out there. Becky Mingarelli says, it's sad. Now bring on the Royals. I like that, Becky. Becky's like, yeah, let's jump into the next one. Bill Hibbs says, I'm a huge Chiefs fan, but want to congratulate the Buccaneers on their win. Chiefs didn't play well, and they'll have to learn from this. We will be back next year. Thank you, Bill. That's awesome. Michelle Passini, club member. Very sad. Worst game of the season. I could tell from the first play something was wrong. Many had attitude, too much anger on the field, too many flags. Turned it off after the terrible halftime. Good lesson learned. Everyone, anger only hurts you. So stay safe, everyone. Couldn't agree with you more, Michelle. I appreciate it. Kim Blakemore. quit watching most sports when they decided to turn political. I've heard a lot of people talk about the announcing, and maybe it was pregame. I didn't watch a whole lot of pregame, but I know it's getting a lot of feedback today. Romelda Patterson says, "What in the world was that halftime show? I didn't know if they was wearing underwear on their head. What was going on?" Yeah, the masks were a little bit interesting, Romelda. I'm with you on that. As far as what we have on our KOAM News Now Insta poll right now, we had 65% of you obviously disappointed with the Bucks winning it, 16% happy, and I still find it interesting, 19% that say they didn't watch it, and that kind of echoes our sentiments that what we had on Friday's poll about not watching the Super Bowl. So I just found that interesting. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
We take time to honor today's four-state hero, Roy Durfelt, who was a member of the United States Army. He served from 1943 to 1946 in World War II. His hometown, Galena, Kansas. We are proud to salute Roy Durfelt, our four-state hero.
Let's kick our birthday list off with Finley Albright, who's celebrating her big number 3 right there. Kiddo, if I could pull off a bow as well as you pull off a bow, I would wear it, but I can't. Happy birthday, Miss Finley in Miami.
Callie Harrison turning 3 years old this year. Callie celebrating in Pittsburgh.
Harking back to Friday, but we'll keep the celebration going for Camden McCready. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Do we have it?
I don't know. The build-up's great, though. The build-up for Camden's birthday. I'm just going to sit on this.
I didn't know if we needed to move on and come back to it, or...
Ah, I told you! Told you it was worth the wait.
What a cute picture.
When you're rocking a mohawk like that, yeah, it was worth the wait. Happy birthday, Mr. Camden. He's turned 5 in Chanute.
Oakley Johnson celebrating birthday number 5 in Girard. Oakley's birthday was on Saturday.
Now, Orion Hayward gonna come back here because we talked about him last week, but then we're like, we gotta get a birthday of this dude, and there we got him. And because when you turn 8, man, you deserve to be on the KOAM Morning News. Hey, I want you to know that, Orion, this comes from love from Kwama and Papa. I hope I did that first one right. I don't know. I hope I did. Anyway, Orion, a happy 8th birthday. He's in Altamont.
Uma. I think it's Uma. All right, Camden Hollenbeck celebrating birthday number 9 this year. Looks like he's a Minecraft fan. Camden is in Persons.
I think I just misread, like, my eyes just played a little trick on me. I think. Hey, I'm gonna guess a little St. Paul pride right there. See the SP in the background? See the Saints? Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. Rayleigh Nelson, a happy 9th birthday. Miss Rayleigh's she's in Parsons.
And Alexis Schultz celebrating a year wiser. Alexis is I'm not sure where she is, but Alexis is 10 years old.
From Mom, Dad, and the family, a special birthday wish going out to a new teenager, Bradley Farrow, straight cash. In the words of Randy Moss, Bradley, I want you, I'm stealing this line. Straight cash, homie. Bradley Farrow turns 13 in Oswego.
Mackenzie Leroy celebrating birthday number 15. Mackenzie is in Chanute.
I like that 15 number because that's exactly what Grace Tatum is. What a great picture right there. Happy birthday, Miss Grace, as she celebrates in Joplin.
And after Miss Grace, we have Will Eddington, who's 19 years old.
How
in
was that
Columbus.
dude 19?
I know. They're all growing up for us.
I know. Happy birthday, Will. That's awesome, man. Little Columbus Titan pride right there. I love that. Jenna Fosdick, she is celebrating her 20th birthday. Miss Jenna, happy birthday in Carthage.
Dylan Hellwood turning 21 this year. Happy birthday to Dylan in Columbus.
Out to Parsons, we've got a very special 28th birthday as we wish Kristen Maddox a wonderful happy birthday Monday.
Deja Zwalin turning the big 3-0 this year. Deja is in Oswego.
Try to see what that is on the back. That's cool. Whoever made that for you, Deja, that's awesome. That's really cool. Oh, Melanie can't call. I'll be darned. Happy birthday, Melanie. She's celebrating her 43rd. I want to pass along that her father had a birthday on Saturday. So a very busy and celebratory household. And Melanie, have a great day. She's in Galesburg. Angie Edwards. Yeah, there she is. She's celebrating her 59th. Happy birthday to Angie and Crestline and Ernie Hauk. Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Blue sky, short sleeve shirt, fishing. Yes, please, Ernie. Thank you for that birthday picture right there. Happy birthday to Ernie, who turns 68 in Moran.
Brian Stroud turning 69 years old this year. Brian is in Frontenac, had a birthday back on Saturday. And
no, I was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Stroud. I never would. I thought he was much younger than that, just because of how active he is and everything. Happy birthday, Brian. That's great. I had no idea. Ernest Window, a happy 87th birthday. Now, Mr. Window, I also want to thank you for your service to our country. If you did not know, Mr. Window is a veteran of the United States Navy, where he served for a decade, and not only a United States Navy veteran, but also too a grandfather. I love that cake right there. Happy birthday, Ernest and Liberal.
all right. Hazel Edwards celebrating a birthday in Iola. Hope you have a great one, Hazel.
And David Grattan, from all the family, my man. You keep jamming right there. Happy birthday to David.
All right, our list goes on. We've got Jim Cern in Altamont and Melody Kaler in Columbus.
Granger Dean Bruce, the GDB. Happy third birthday in Baxter Springs. We're going to keep it in Baxter with Cameron Bowen, who celebrates number 18. And speaking of Baxter Springs, Brenda Zelmer, well, she's in charge of making sure those kiddos get there safely. One of our reliable, no, not reliable. What do I want to call them? One of the underappreciated. We don't think about the people that drive buses and how important they are. Keeping our kids safe, getting them to school. Brenda, number one, thank you for everything that you do. Number two, happy birthday. Number three, oh, by the way, I checked KOAMnewsnow.com. Brenda's got the day off today.
Nice.
Happy birthday, Miss Brenda. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Just go to KOAMnewsnow.com. Sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
All right, remember, we've got a winter weather advisory in effect all the way until 6 o'clock this evening. And a list of closings running there on the bottom of your screen. And we're ranging everything from Joplin to Pittsburgh to Fort Scott. I'm trying to think. Webb, you're out. And once again, go to CJ, you're out. Carthage, you're out. Everybody's out. Everybody sleep in. Everybody sleep in today. Here's what we got. We're going to pick up more snow and also freezing rain down the south. That's the key factor, is that wintry precipitation. And here's the additionally on top of that, as we kind of clear off, look at what comes back Tuesday. And so we're a long way from over.
And don't be surprised if we don't actually run winter weather advisories all the way through the middle of the week with these frigid cold temperatures down into single digits for overnight lows as we approach the end of the week. Of course, your morning news continues on KOAM. That's where we've got the CBS Morning News coming up next. Or you can switch on over. I think Jesse and I got an appointment on Fox 14.
Yeah, at 7 o'clock?
I'll go with you.
You available? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll see you over there on Fox 14. We got a conversation with Senator Josh Hawley. Plus, I want to ask you, Michael, about the halftime show. So we'll do that over there in a second.